Elisa Lam was a young woman on a trip. She was traveling alone. She was 21 years old. This was supposed to be her adventure. She left Vancouver, Canada, and made her way down the west coast of the United States. She was going to Santa Cruz, then she planned to go to San Diego. She was checking in at different hostels and hotels along the way. She kept in touch with her family. Her family expected to hear from her every day. But then, the calls stopped. Her family reported her missing on February 1st, 2013. That was the day she was supposed to check out of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. It was a place with a long, dark history. A place where strange things happened. A place that attracted all sorts of people, good and bad. And what happened next became a global mystery. It grabbed people's attention. A security camera video was released. It showed Elisa in the hotel elevator. Her behavior in that video was unsettling. It was confusing. It was the last time anyone saw her alive. This video gave us a small window into her last known moments, but it also created a massive, dark hole. This hole swallowed the hours and then days leading up to her death. These are the missing hours. The time when no one knows what Elisa Lam was doing, or who she was with, or how she ended up where she did. To understand those missing hours, we need to go back a bit. Elisa had bipolar disorder. This is a mental health condition. It causes extreme mood swings. It can make someone feel very high and energetic. Then it can make them feel very low and depressed. She took medication for it. Her family said she had a history of not taking her medication regularly. This is important. It might help explain some of her actions. It doesn't explain everything, though. Elisa had been staying at the Cecil Hotel since January 28th. She was originally in a shared room. It was a hostel-style setup, but she was moved to a private room. Some reports say it was because her roommates complained about her behavior. They said she was acting strangely. This was before the elevator video. It suggests that her behavior might have already been changing. That she was already experiencing some difficulties. She called her parents every day. She sent them messages. Her parents expected a call on January 31st, but that call never came. This was the first sign something was wrong. Her parents knew something was very wrong. So they called the police. They knew her daughter was meticulous about these calls. It wasn't like her to miss one. The police started to look for her. They searched the Cecil Hotel. They brought in dogs. They looked in every room. They looked on the roof. They looked through the building. But they didn't find her. Not at first. On February 1st, the day she was supposed to leave, the last known sighting happened. This is the infamous elevator video. It's grainy. It's black and white. It shows Elisa Lam alone in the elevator. The video is timed at around 1:07 a.m. This is when the mystery really begins. Let's talk about that video. Elisa steps into the elevator. She presses several buttons. It looks like she wants to go to different floors, but the doors don't close. She waits. She peeks her head out of the elevator. She looks left. Then she looks right. It's like she's checking for someone. Or something. She steps back inside. She waits again. The doors still don't close. Then she steps out of the elevator completely. She stands by the door frame. She moves her arms in strange ways. Her hands are open. Her fingers are spread. It looks like she's talking to someone, but no one else is there. Or no one else is visible to the camera. She motions with her hands. Her body language is unusual. She seems agitated or distressed, or maybe she's just confused. She goes back into the elevator. She tries pressing the buttons again. She presses them all. Maybe she thinks they're stuck. Maybe she's frustrated, but the doors still won't close. She steps out one last time. She stands in the hallway. She moves her hands again. She looks up and down the hallway. She paces a little, and then she walks off camera. She walks away from the elevator. The elevator doors finally close. They open again. They close again, all by themselves. No one is left in the frame. That's the end of the video. This video is critical. It's the last piece of the puzzle we have before the big blank space. It shows her alive. It shows her acting very strangely. It shows her alone as far as the camera can tell. And it leaves us with so many questions. Was she hiding from someone? Her peeking out suggests that. Was she talking to someone just out of frame? Her hand gestures suggest that. Was she having a psychotic episode? Her erratic movements and pressing all the buttons could suggest that. This is where her bipolar disorder comes in. If she wasn't taking her medication, or if it wasn't working, she could have been experiencing a manic or psychotic episode. This could make her confused. It could make her hallucinate. It could make her act in ways that don't make sense to a clear-headed person. The video ends. She walks away, and that's it. That's the start of the missing time. The clock begins ticking. From that moment on, we have no idea where Elisa went. We don't know who she was with, we don't know what she did, and this missing time stretches for a long, long time. Not just hours, it stretches for days. The police searched the hotel thoroughly. They searched it again. They even used dogs trained to find human remains, but they found nothing. How could someone vanish inside a hotel? A hotel with cameras everywhere, a hotel that was being actively searched? It means she was either in an area the police didn't search properly, or she was with someone who helped her stay hidden, or she left the hotel without being seen, but her personal belongings were still in her room. This her phone, her wallet, her ID. This makes leaving the hotel seem unlikely. She would have needed those things. So where did she go after she walked out of the elevator frame? This is the core of the mystery. This is the big blank. She was last seen on February 1st, but her body wasn't found until February 19th. That's 18 days. 18 days where no one knows what happened to Elisa Lam. Let's think about the Cecil Hotel. It's a very old building. It has 12 floors. It's huge. It has many rooms. It has many stairwells. It has fire escapes. It has hidden corners. The hotel was known for its dark past. Serial killers stayed there. People died there. It had a reputation. It was part residential hotel, part tourist spot. This mix of long-term residents and short-term guests meant a lot of people were coming and going. It meant less scrutiny. Could she have been hiding in one of the hotel rooms? Maybe an empty one? Unlikely for 18 days without food or water. Could she have been with someone who kept her hidden? This is a possibility. If someone was helping her, or if someone was doing something to her, they would have had to hide her very well. They would have had to avoid the police searches. The most critical part of the hotel for this story is the roof. The water tanks were on the roof. Getting to the roof wasn't supposed to be easy. There were several ways to access the roof. There was a main fire escape, and there was a locked door on the 14th floor that led to a fire escape. That fire escape led directly to the roof. This door was supposed to be alarmed. If someone opened it, an alarm should have gone off. But according to later reports, that alarm might not have been working, or it might have been easy to bypass. There was also an internal staff stairwell. This stairwell might have provided access to the roof. Again, it should have been secure here, but it's an old hotel. Security systems in old buildings are not always perfect. Once on the roof, the water tanks themselves presented another challenge. There were 4 large tanks. They were used to supply water to the hotel. They were about 10 feet tall. They sat on concrete blocks. They were covered. The access hatches were on top of the tanks. These hatches were heavy, very heavy. They were hard to open from the outside. So for Elisa to get into one of these tanks, she would have had to 1. Get to the roof. This means getting past locked doors or an alarm. 2. Get onto the top of the tank. This would likely require a ladder, or she would have had to climb up the side of the tank. All of this seems like a huge effort, especially for someone who might be in a distressed mental state. It's not something you do easily. It's not something you do by accident. During those 18 missing days, the hotel guests started complaining. The water pressure was low. The water sometimes had a strange taste. It was discolored. This went on for days. Finally, on February 19th, a hotel maintenance worker went to the roof. He went to check the water tanks. He climbed a ladder to look into one of the tanks. And that's when he found her. He found Elisa Lam's body. She was naked. Her clothes were floating in the water near her. The discovery immediately brought up more questions. How did she get into the tank? Why was she naked? Why were her clothes in the water? And why wasn't she found sooner? The police had searched the roof. They said they searched it, but the maintenance worker found her. This raised questions about the thoroughness of the initial police search. The autopsy report came out later. It concluded that Elisa Lam's death was an accidental drowning. Her bipolar disorder was listed as a significant condition. The toxicology report showed that she had some of her prescription medications in her system. These were for her bipolar disorder, but the levels were low and some of her prescribed medications were missing from her belongings. This suggests she might not have been taking her full dose, or she might have stopped taking them entirely. Not taking her medication could have led to a psychotic episode. This could explain her strange behavior in the elevator video. It could explain why she might have gone to the roof. It could explain why she might have entered the tank. But even with the autopsy and toxicology, many questions remain about those missing hours. And days. If it was an accidental drowning, how did she get on the roof? If the door was locked and alarmed, how did she get through it? Was the alarm broken? Did she find an unlocked door, or did someone help her get up there? If she was having a psychotic episode, maybe she believed she was in danger. Maybe she was trying to hide. The water tank could have seemed like a hiding place to someone who was not thinking clearly. Maybe she got in and then couldn't get out. The heavy lid, the height of the tank, the slippery sides. It would be very hard to escape. But what about the nakedness? Did she take her clothes off, or were they removed by someone else? If she was in a psychotic state, taking her clothes off isn't unheard of. It can be part of a disoriented state. The phenomenon known as paradoxical undressing can occur in cases of hypothermia. but there was no evidence of hypothermia here. It's still a strange detail. And the lack of physical trauma. The autopsy found no signs of struggle, no defensive wounds. This makes foul play seem less likely. If someone forced her into the tank, you might expect some signs of a fight, but there were none. So, the official conclusion is accidental drowning. It suggests that during those missing days, Elisa Lam, likely in a severe psychotic episode, somehow found her way to the roof. She then climbed into the water tank, perhaps seeking refuge or experiencing a delusion, and then couldn't get out. She drowned. But this explanation still leaves so much unexplained about those hours and days leading up to her entering the tank. How did she spend those 18 days? Did she wander the hotel? Did she stay in a hidden room? Was she just on the roof the whole time? It's impossible. No one can survive 18 days in a water tank. So, she must have entered the tank closer to the time of her death. This means she was somewhere else for a large portion of those 18 days. But where? The missing time refers to the entire period from the elevator video until her body was discovered. But more specifically, it focuses on the unobserved actions immediately following that video, and the period directly before she entered the tank. The gap is truly immense. No one knows who she saw, if anyone. No one knows where she ate, or slept, or what thoughts were going through her mind during that huge blank space. The police investigation could not fill this gap. There were no more security camera sightings of her after the elevator. No witnesses came forward who saw her after that. This is why the case captured so many imaginations. It feels incomplete. The facts we have of the video, the location, the discovery, don't quite fit together into a smooth, easy to understand narrative. We have a beginning and an end, but the middle is just a blur. A vast, dark, silent space of missing time. It leads us to wonder what truly happened in those crucial hours before Elisa Lam entered that water tank, leaving her story forever unresolved in the public mind.